Genre conventions are often taken for granted in game design. This is true for both players and developers. In first-person shooters, right trigger is nearly always shoot. In fighting games, there are usually motion inputs and life bars. In platformers, B, or whatever your controller's bottom button is usually jump. I love it when games defy convention despite the risks involved. Call of Duty will probably always be Call of Duty and sell reliably. But something like Snake Pass though? A platformer with no jump button? Although some people are driven mad by Snake Pass, I got obsessed with and 100%ed it. I was captivated by its design. As any savvy viewer could tell from general context, I'd like to talk about a specific genre trope ignored by the developers of Elden Ring. For me, this design choice worked, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it put off a lot of players. Disclaimer, I have not looked into the cesspool that is online opinions regarding this topic, since at least Morrowind, which is the earliest example I can think of anyways, when a player explores an open overworld, the music is sparse. Most often a single song will play once, then silence for a good long while. Longer than that. There may be different themes for different environments, or just multiple songs with battle and night variations. Any Bethesda title, Breath of the Wild, every open world game I can recall playing does it. It's a fine method for the composer and music supervisors to deliver different flavors of sound over the hours and hours players spend exploring. A genre trope that I took totally for granted until my second hour or so exploring Limgrave in From Software's Elden Ring. At some point it dawned on me that the music had been looping, the way it does in 90-second Mario levels. Coming into Elden Ring from the quiet, ambient noises of the Dark Souls series, I was initially worried the looping would hurt my experience with the game. But instead, as the windy, mournful Limgrave theme became etched into my brain through repetition, it became a powerful tone setter. This wasn't background music, it was what Limgrave sounded like. Side note, I didn't notice it until listening to the game's music while I was writing this, but check this creepy wind sound effect overlaid in the Limgrave tune. Liurnia's mystery and expansive wetlands stretched deep into the horizon and sounded as alien and mystical as the place was. It had an edge for ambient music too, an undercurrent of threat. When I finished my trek up through the ruin-strewn precipice and rode the elevator up to the Altus Plateau, I was greeted with music beautiful enough to match the autumnal vistas ahead of me. That sentence took about 12 takes to record because it's a bumbled mess. This song is my favorite, by the way. Elden Ring's director, Hidetaka Miyazaki, is infamous for being involved in minute design decisions in his games. There are stories of him acting out attack animations for From Software's animators. It's a safe assumption that if looping the music wasn't directly Miyazaki's idea, that he trusted the notions of his composers enough to do something so different. The looping is not only a deviation from genre norms, but from Software's usual MO as well. I can only guess as to what motivated this decision. For me, the looping music built the mood the way the best John Carpenter scores do. Carpenter has often said his scores should sit in the background, quote, like wallpaper, and Elden Ring's music had that same effect on me. Borderline ambient, but interesting enough to play in my head long after the game is shut off. Sekiro has sections with looping music, but compared to Elden Ring, it sits way in the background. In addition to that, Sekiro is a linear game in which I die every 13 seconds, so the music never stood out too much to me. The Dark Souls trilogy is crushingly silent, on the other hand. I think comparing Elden Ring's musical choices to Dark Souls gives some more insight into why Miyazaki and his team chose the loop. The silence that presses down on you in Dark Souls is a byproduct of the world design. Lordran, Lothric, and Drangleic are all places that are not only ruined, but stagnant, doomed to torpor by their inability to rot and allow new life to flourish. They are ruined kingdoms built on top of ruined kingdoms in a place where time has no meaning, and those with the undead curse lose themselves in the timelessness. Silence is perfect to drive all that home. But in Old Ring, between the wildlife, patrolling soldiers, and the music, the lands between feel alive. There is still a fuzziness to time, and undeath, always a staple of Miyazaki's design. But those elements don't define the world the way they do in Dark Souls. The state of things is ruin, yes, but the looping music suggests to me that the ruin is transitory rather than permanent. Rot is even essential to Elden Ring's lore and story, and with rot comes new life. Why do you think the designers chose to loop the music in an open-world game? Did you have the opposite experience as me and shut the music off in the menu after 5 hours in Limgrave? What are some other bendings of tropes that worked or didn't work for you? Why aren't you discussing all this right now in what I'm sure is a bustling comment section? Thanks for watching!